If you want to be on the leading edge of where things are headed, okay, where things are going when it comes to Facebook ads and paid traffic and digital marketing, and not where things were 6 months ago or 90 days ago or a year ago, I want you to be on the cutting edge, and that's where we always have been over these last few years. And today's video is about how you can be there and some great action steps. And what I want to share with you are a couple things that Ryan Deiss, Brendon Burchard, and Dan Kennedy, three of the smartest, most successful business owners and entrepreneurs on the planet. Also, all three are just pioneers when it comes to marketing and digital marketing specifically. I want to talk to you about something each one of them said that's very, very important, that can be important to your success in making this year an incredible year. All right. And at the end of this video, I'm also going to give you a good little breakdown of how you can implement this stuff and on kind of a tactical basis too. So let's get right into it. All right. So first of all, Brendon Burchard. Brendon Burchard recently spoke at Joe Polish's super high level Genius Network event, which is a $10,000 per person event. People like Peter Diamandis, of course, Brendon Burchard, Dan Sullivan, Tony Robbins were all there, all paid $10,000, and we're all speaking at this event, including several others. And I recently watched the recording of Brendon's presentation because they sold the recordings to this event. And there was something that Brendon said at the beginning of his talk, kind of to preface his 30-minute talk. His 30-minute talk was going to be about really how to go out and really be true to your audience and be authentic and be focused on making a difference. But in the first few minutes, I'm going to basically repeat what he said. All right, so just in the first few minutes before he got right into his main talk, I'm going to basically kind of repeat this kind of one minute. I'm going to kind of repeat the 1 minute of his talk, and he was talking about how he spoke a year ago to the same group, and what he said was, one of my challenges to the group last year was this: if you're not spending $1,000 a day on Facebook ads, you have not entered the modern era of marketing, period. And if you haven't started that work, it's time to start that work. Because I want to give you an update. Okay, so that's what we do. We do even more than that. But since I stood on this stage last year, we have 4.5 million more followers on Facebook. Since last year, over $25 million in revenue has come in from just Facebook strategies alone. All right, so Brendon Burchard, so $25 million has come in the last year from Facebook strategies alone. Now, I disagree on the $1,000 a day. You don't have to be spending $1,000 a day to make a huge impact on Facebook. We've got clients that are spending, $200 or $300 a day that are in the mid six figures, pushing $1 million a year. So you can make a big impact on less than that. But really, I love that goal to be able to get to $1,000 a day, because that is absolutely game changing. And we are in a period of time where we don't know how long this is going to last. I feel like we are in this gold rush, especially with what's happening right now with Facebook video ads and the prices and how cheap they are. That stuff is not going to be this cheap for this long. And Brendon continues, because one of the things that I heard from a lot of Genius Network members was like, well, you don't understand, Brendon. I got this infrastructure and it's hard on me and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm a student of a lot of people in this room, so I take it seriously when I say this. I don't say it to challenge you. I say it because you have a responsibility to reach more people with the work that you do. And that begins by entering the modern era. That begins by entering the era where you're running Facebook ads. You got to stop looking at ads as spending money and instead as an investment. Every dollar I spend on Facebook, I get $1.87 back within 90 days. So how much would you spend on Facebook? If they let me spend $1 million, which they won't, I'd do it. I'd do it right now because my message is that important to me. Okay, but what I get from a lot of people is Brendon, I started trying this stuff and I can only get 100 people to watch my video and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then when Brendon continued to go on, and what he said next was, honor and never forget the worth of one. Okay, the value of one viewer, one person that watches your video. And then he went on to talk about this really cool talk, and it was just a great presentation. But what I want to talk to you now is, this is Keith talking now, not Brendon, but is he's so right. Okay, you don't have to be spending $1,000 a day to win on Facebook, but you need to do the work. Okay, so many people are so focused on, I got to outsource Facebook. I've got to find somebody and hire and do it for me. So many people are out there thinking, who can I hire to get this off my plate? I need to hire somebody to run Facebook ads, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is a lot of people are sometimes you're getting in this mode where you're thinking of, how can I outsource and outsource all this busy work that I don't like? Well, you have to realize that this is like high level stuff. Yes, it might be, you might not be good at it, but you might be better off in some cases doing the work. And then, out over time, after you really dial this stuff in, bring it in-house, train somebody to do it. But this is one of the most important things you can ever do. We've got a couple clients in my Navigator coaching program, which is where it's kind of a done with you, where we get on weekly calls, small group calls, and one-on-one calls. And we've got a couple people in that group that doubled their business last year in 2015. And it was all because they used Facebook ads to amplify their already successful funnel, okay? And they did the work. They didn't just go outsource it to somebody else and try to hire somebody off Elance. It doesn't work that way. This is important stuff. I had a good friend of mine I heard the other day. He's getting ready to open up another local gym, a fitness gym, and he was talking about how they got to do a lot of marketing now because it's a new gym, and he wants to hire somebody to run his ads. And I'm like, dude, you got to do the work. This is how you're going to fill up your gym. And if you're going to roll out any other gyms, or if you're going to franchise this out, you've got to have a system, and you're the only one that can do it. You're the one that's going to create the videos, to create the content. You've got to do the work. All right. So let's get. I don't want to digress too much because I want to get into the good stuff here. So into some more tactical stuff. But please, this is important stuff, and it's worth the frustration that sometimes that it can feel. And sometimes you feel like you're wasting your money, but you're not, because every time you make an impression out there, you're either learning something, and also you're building your fan base, you're building your email list, you're building your custom audiences, you're branding yourself, and your future campaigns will be that much more successful. All right, let's talk about something that Ryan Deiss was talking about just the other day during a video that he created for his Digital Marketer Engage group, their membership group, which I strongly encourage you to join if you're not already a member. It's $38 a month, and it's just awesome stuff. This is a picture he posted on his Facebook profile a while back with him and Perry Belcher, one of his partners, with the Shark Tank crew. And I asked Molly, what was Ryan doing with the Shark Tank crew? She's like, yeah, he was helping Dave and John buy companies. No big deal. Just consulting with them. Okay, these guys know what they're doing, and they are always on the cutting edge. And I love the video that Ryan talked about because it's so much in alignment with what we do and what we've been teaching for quite a while at Dominate Web Media and inside Facebook Ads University. And what he talked about was this new branding, okay? Ryan Deiss is talking about, and a lot of the 2016 traffic and conversion event is going to be about this new branding, okay? And he talked about when it comes to branding and selling, okay, you have to realize that you can do both, and you should do both. Okay, there's always been people that, branding is horrible. They're direct response marketers, and you shouldn't be doing branding. And then there's branding marketers that hate direct response. And you've got to combine the two. And we've been working on this for the last couple of years. But I love what Ryan said was, all branding is basically like making deposits of relational equity. Okay, I call that goodwill. So a lot of times you'll hear me talk about creating goodwill, running Facebook ads into an ungated content piece, an article or a blog where somebody can consume your content without having to exchange anything like their email address or an hour of their time for a webinar or $7 or $100 or $1,000, right? So, or they can watch a video inside the Facebook newsfeed without having to pay for anything as far as time, money, or their email address. And what that is what you're doing, and is think about it as a bank, okay? But instead of money in this bank, it's actually, Ryan calls it relational equity, okay? I call it goodwill, So every time you do something where you're creating goodwill and somebody doesn't have to give something in exchange, you're not trying to sell something, you're making deposits, okay? And you want to build up that relational equity, and then the more you have, the more that you can withdraw, okay? And that's when it comes to selling. So your selling is basically making withdrawals of relational equity, okay? Or making withdrawals of goodwill, like I like to say. But that can also be really any kind of conversion-focused campaign. If you're trying to ask somebody for their email address or their an hour and a half of their time to sit through a webinar, that all, in my opinion, is selling. Okay, you're asking them to give you something in exchange, whether it's their email address, their time, or their money. Okay, so what you want to always be thinking with all of your marketing is always you want to be making deposits. But so you can make more, so you have more money or more equity to be able to withdraw when it comes to your kind of promotional stuff. So let's think about it this way. Think about, like, I like to refer it back to Facebook ads because that's what we really focus on most over here. So if you're running a link post ad, which is like a page post link ad, the most popular ad you see on Facebook, where the image is a clickable link, and you click on that image and it takes you off of Facebook, and you're running that ad into a blog post, and they don't have to opt in for it. I like to put a number on it. So let's say that's a $10 deposit. Okay, if you run a maybe 5 to 10 minute content video, like a content video that also has a soft call to action into some kind of a landing page, like maybe a webinar registration page or an opt-in or something like that. That's borderline, right? Because you are asking for something, but you're teaching, you're giving maybe 5 tips or 1 or 2 tips, okay? This is a great video that we like to do, and that's kind of like you're making the deposit, but then you're asking them for something at the end. That might be like a $5 deposit, all right? Let's say an engagement Facebook post or like a like campaign, where you maybe have an image, an inspirational quote, maybe you've got you're giving a tip, you read out a long post, and maybe you amplify it with Facebook ads, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. Okay, the point is this is purely goodwill, $10 deposit. Okay, and then let's say you're doing a branding video. Maybe it's a 3-4 minute video, maybe it's a 10-minute video, and there's no call to action at all. Or, maybe you have a link to your homepage at the end of the video or in the post, but there's no call to action, That would be like a $20 deposit. Now, the other side is withdrawals. So let's say you run a traditional link post Facebook ad to an opt-in page for a lead magnet, checklist or checklist or guide or free video series or a webinar registration or a free demo or whatever it is, right? Maybe that's like a $10 withdrawal. Let's say you're doing a 30-second video to a landing page. I'd say that's still a withdrawal, because a super short video, like 20 to 30 seconds, you don't have enough time to really create any relational equity or goodwill. So that's still kind of a negative. Okay, so let's say you're doing a retargeting ad. Maybe it's just a traditional image link ad or retargeting video ad, but it's going into a sales page. Of course, that's going to be a withdrawal. So that might be a withdrawal of $10. So when it comes to your campaigns, if you just understand this, you don't have to do everything exactly like everybody else. You just have to understand the core principle here. And so I might run a blog post and amplify that, and then I also might run a link post ad. And I might even run them at the same time to the same audience, because, I'm getting $10 in goodwill, and then I'm taking $10 out, and I'm kind of breaking even there. The point is that you don't have to have like the perfect exact same funnel as we might talk about sometime on the podcast, or somebody else might teach, or somebody else might be doing. As long as you understand this core principle, you will win, okay? And don't give up after one campaign. And just realize that each of these different campaigns are serving a different purpose. Now I'm going to break it down even a little bit more for you in a second. So if this is a lot, just hold on. So does this stuff work in the real world? Yes, it does. And actually, I want to let you listen in on like a 1-minute conversation that I had just a few days ago with one of our coaching clients. I love this call, and it's perfect for this situation, because I was on a call just a few days ago with Bob Carr, who's one of our Navigator clients, and which is our high-end coaching program at Dominate Web Media, where we get on calls like once a week, either with me one-on-one or with one of our coaches. And then we have small group calls. And on this call, it was Richard Osterud, who's one of our coaches, myself, and also Bob Carr.
But Bob has a business that a lot of people might think that would be difficult to get Facebook ads to work. They have a service-based business in the Northeast where they do garage makeovers, garage flooring, they do sprinkler system installs, snow removal, that type of stuff. And we're on a call the other day, and I love this because Bob is referencing back to our strategy of creating goodwill, driving traffic into to content, and not just lead gen. Like that's all they were doing before was 100% lead gen. And what we've done was we've added this approach. And if you listen to this, you'll notice that this isn't just a long-term strategy. This is a short-term strategy too. People are calling in. Okay, check this out. It's pretty cool.
One of the 2-3 things I wanted to cover, if we have time, is I use CallRail for my phone number tracking guys. And I noticed since Monday, I turned the ads off. I paused them on like Christmas Eve because my price spiked up and my views and conversion went way down. But anyway, after I refired them up, I got a lot of hits. But then on Monday morning, I do a big e-blast out through a lot of different lists from my Aweber and from a MailChimp. I got 2 different lists I use, or a lot of different lists. But anyway, I started getting a lot of phone calls into the office, to the girls, the women in my office, from CallRail. They were coming from Facebook because I got them identified, So I have to, this is stupid on me, is I still can't figure out where and how yet, where it's a good thing, but why are people calling? Where are they seeing that? I got the call numbers on there. I'm asking my own question, but then again is why and how, because I want to amplify that and exploit that if I can figure that out. Does that make sense? Like I'm getting phone calls, and I know that phone calls coming from my Facebook ads. I turned my Google ads off, but I still know because it comes in because it's identified. Each ad's different phone number on there, tracking number.
Yeah.
So it's coming from a Facebook ad. So that's step one. I know that's for a fact. I can tell you what ad it's coming from, but it's like, why, I wonder, are people calling in instead of clicking? And on Christmas time, that's always been a big thing the last couple of years. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. It's good because the girls will text me or send me the phone call message and say, hey, you sent it to a salesman, and then I'll divvy up whoever should go to with their expertise. But it's like, I wonder why, Obviously, Keith, it comes back from what you and Richard been preaching to me about doing the Bob Carr with the article, because all of a sudden I started getting a lot more versions for garage makeovers, and then the phone calls for garage makeovers and for floors. So whatever we're doing is working. I just need to identify more and dig into it more where it's coming from. Like right now, if you look at my leads for today, I only showed 3 if you're looking at my page, but I also got one from floors. I got one from makeovers. Let's see, I got one for makeover, one for floors. So I only got 5 leads today. I'll guarantee you from Facebook alone today, I've given out probably 12 to 15 leads.
Gotcha.
But this is not get up right here by looking at my screen exactly what I've divvied up today.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's a good thing. But it's something I just wanted to share with you. That's all. And I guess another thing is it's a good aha. It's just that it doesn't show up here as a conversion, but it's really a conversion because they're calling in, right?
Right.
So, but after hours they're getting my answering service. It is good, so I get the same message at night and I pass it on. So I just thought that was cool because I wasn't getting as much. Just aha to you guys, Keith, okay? Because until you had me going, starting that, what you did with Bree, remember the blog?
Yep.
And I remember one night, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, you hung up, you had to do something else. I was with Richard, and I said, that shit ain't going to work. I'm going to go back to Bob Carr. And now I'm seeing it from just, shutting my mouth and doubling down and doing what you told me to build a foundation, right? I'm seeing now it's like, where's these people coming from? And then they're coming back out of the woods. So, I mean, it brings your cost way down and it makes you feel good. It just, now I want to identify that more. But I get you, Richard. People are, like you said, just want to call in. But it's a good thing because I'm getting that more now than I was before, guys, when I was just doing straight conversions. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's more people getting interested because you're warming them up.
Right. You're building value.
Guys, it's just a nice way of saying thanks to you guys, but I just thought that was kind of cool this week. It's like, man, why are we getting all these phone calls? It's a good thing.
So there you have it. Okay, that's just one example out of so many that we have, but I just love the way that conversation went. It's pretty cool. So we're just scratching the surface right now with Bob, and so many things all after like literally 6-7 weeks are all of a sudden starting to become so much more clear to him when it comes to overall strategy and also just the Facebook tactical stuff implementation. So it's stuff you just got to get over the hump.
Now I want to talk about something that Dan Kennedy said just a few days ago to one of my coaching clients, one of my navigator clients that I mentioned the other day, where it's my done with you. We work with you. We do one-on-one calls, and we do the weekly small group calls, and Keith Lee also gets mentoring from Dan Kennedy, and Dan had made a comment about just get to 10,000 leads and you'll be fine. And I'll tell you what he meant by that in just a second. But basically, Keith had a traditional business for 20 years selling office equipment or retail equipment to businesses all over the country. And he sold that business recently, and now he's rolling out these information products, teaching people the management system that he used to be able to free himself up, to be able to go on 8 vacations a year and still have this super profitable business. Okay, and so the information product, the coaching, this management system is new, okay? But he's been using it forever, but now he's starting to sell. He's training people on how he did it now. And so he's getting advice from Dan Kennedy. And Dan Kennedy is the traditional direct response guy to the core, right? This whole social advertising thing is fairly new to them. But it's funny how quick he still gets it. A lot of people think, oh, the old school direct response guys don't get it. Well, Dan Kennedy gets it. And what he said to Keith was very, very interesting. He told him that just get to 10,000 leads and you'll be fine. Okay, he's selling like a $2,000 information product. You can't just sell that to a brand new Facebook lead right off the bat or even within 7 days. His point was that use Facebook to generate leads and build your list and try to break even on that ad spend as soon as you can. Sell something after they opt in. That's fine. But know that your follow-up system, your trust building is going to be the key. And so if you just focus on doing everything you can do to try to break even and make some good profit while you're generating your leads, okay, you're using Facebook to acquire leads. And then once you start to build up that pool up to like 5 or 10,000 people, guess what? People are going to just start buying with your follow-up system. And that's what happens. You start to sell a lot more stuff when it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap. Now it's like this snowball. And you're not so stressed out about those brand new leads. And it's kind of like that Brendon Burchard had said, they're looking out 90 days now because they're doing so many things to be able to scale out. They want to go negative right off the bat because they just want to get leads because they know they can turn them into a huge profit within 90 days. Now, some people, their goal is to make that profit back right within 24 hours, and that's totally fine. But the point is that it's all about building your assets, okay? It's about building the relationship. You can't just expect to generate a lead and then sell them a $500 product or a $1,000 product. It just doesn't work that way, okay? And that's where the strategies that I talk about, the cool thing that even Dan Kennedy, these guys aren't even doing quite yet. They don't mind it. The stuff I'm talking about here is even next level because guess what? Even though he said get to 10,000 leads, you don't necessarily need to get to 10,000 leads at all, okay? You really don't, because when you start to do things like running video ads, like a 10-minute video ad where you're building trust and you're speeding up that process. So instead of maybe taking 2 weeks for your email So instead of maybe taking 2 weeks for that relationship to build up, that equity, to be able to sell a more expensive product, a lot of times you can take a shortcut with that by using a really good video or a content amplification ad. And so you can kind of speed up that process when you follow the way we do things. Okay, so instead of trying to get to 10,000 leads, now Keith is a high level. He pays a lot of money to be getting mentored by Dan. You don't need to be at 10,000 leads. You could be at 500 and be getting tons of great results. But here's what I want you to think about for like a year from now. So let's set some 2016 goals. So how about pick a number. So if you're watching this video right now and you've already got 10,000 fans, maybe your goal is to get to 20,000. If you've already got 30,000, maybe your goal is to get to 50 or 60,000. Kind of extrapolate a little bit for what your situation is. But even if you're at 0 fans right now or 500, I still think 10,000 fans can be the goal for you no matter what your budget is a year from now. Okay? So let's say it's 10,000 fans, and the next thing might be 30,000 website custom audience visitors, right? So that's an audience that you can now retarget with your Facebook ads, or you can create a lookalike audience based off of those 30,000 visitors, and Facebook will create an entirely new audience, cold audience, but have similar interests, behaviors, and likes and interests and shopping habits and stuff like that. Okay, and those clicks to your website are a lot cheaper than generating a lead or a sale, right? But it's an asset, just like a lead is. And the next thing might be 50,000 video views. Okay, that might sound like a lot, right? But guess what? The average video view in Facebook is 1 to 2 cents. That's in like the business, my niche, like targeting business owners, 35 to 55, 60 years old. Okay, the most expensive niche. We're talking 1 to 2 cents per view. Okay, that's $500 to $1,000. Okay, do you think you could spend $500 to $1,000 on a video ad over the next few months? And of course, you're not doing that video just to build video views. You're using that. If you're going to do a one video ad, it's going to be to generate leads and sales. That's why we do it. But guess what? The collateral benefit is now you have a 50,000 video view audience that you can retarget. Okay, this is game-changing stuff. So it's not just about getting 10,000 leads. It's about building these assets. And then, of course, maybe 5,000 subscribers. So maybe your goal is 5,000 leads, or 5,000 more leads, or maybe it's 25,000, or maybe it's 100,000, depending on where you're at. But pick these 4 numbers and think about that when you're running your campaigns. And what's that lead to? 500 customers. Okay, by doing that, this is how you generate customers. When you're starting to build these assets, the customers start to come more often. Okay, it's really powerful stuff. Okay, recently inside Facebook Ads University, if you're not a member of Facebook Ads University, I strongly encourage you to join up and you'll be able to access all of our recent recorded webinars and get on the next live webinar, of course. But inside Facebook Ads University, I actually have, see what the next live webinar we always have at the top, but we have all these really, really good, we do webinars every 2 weeks. If you're already a member, get in here. And this one right here, how to use social automation to scale for ad campaigns. This webinar, it's like an hour and 15 minutes, is me. It's really, this is how you do this right here, by watching that webinar and implementing, period. Okay? But there's some really good stuff in here that I'd love for you to go through and go through, and sometimes you'll be able to see the overview of what we talked about on some of these recorded webinars. Of course, the blueprint's got all the checklists and everything like that, but let's get back to it. So basically, I really break it down. There's really just 4 ads that you need to create to be able to do this. If you look here, this is one of the slides that I have in that webinar that I talked about. It's at the end of the webinar, but I'll just give you a little snippet here so you can visualize and think about it this way. So like maybe you're spending 5 to 10% of your budget on like campaigns. I don't recommend spending any more than that. Usually like 5 to 7% on a click like us, like something like getting ROI from social media, like us, and watch client case studies on how we do it. So your goal is to get fans so you can remarket to those fans. And then maybe you're running content amplification ads with 20 to 30%, maybe 40% of your budget. You're going to generate leads out of that, but also, more importantly, you're going to be building these custom audiences, building goodwill, making deposits of relational equity. And so if they don't buy right away, that's okay, because now you can run an ad like down here at the bottom. You might run a video ad into an opt-in page, or maybe just a traditional link post ad into an opt-in webinar page. Or maybe it's to like a impulse buy, like where somebody could get this credit card knife or can opener and just pay $3 shipping, whatever it is. This is more of a withdrawal, right, of goodwill or relational equity. But if you're doing enough of this stuff above, you'll be able to really run these conversion focused campaigns without pissing people off, keeping high relevance scores, building these audiences, these Facebook audiences, these website custom audiences, your lead, building your subscriber base, and of course, generating sales, right? All right, so this is exactly what Ryan Deiss is talking about. This is how you win in digital marketing, in Facebook ads, YouTube ads. It doesn't matter. Okay, we've been teaching this for a while, which is why I'm so glad that you're watching this video. I'm glad you're a part of our world at Dominate Web Media, because I promise you, we will keep you on the forefront of what's working, not some quick get rich quick thing or shortcut that's going to get your Facebook account banned, okay? We're going to teach you stuff that works both short term and long term. But like I said, if you're already a member of Facebook Ads University, get into the members area and go through, get on the next webinar, okay? Go through these last webinars and click through into each one of these and look at the content and see what resonates with you. Basic campaign structure, targeting, bidding. Okay, get into the Facebook Ads Blueprint program if you've got access to that, and go through each of these. Just go through and look through the modules and find out which module that you need help with. Okay, you don't need to go through all this stuff yet. Maybe just click on the checklist on ops manuals and see, which one that might help you and download that, right? Basically, what I want you to do is get to work and do this stuff. If it's new and if it feels like a foreign language, go in there and start. Once you do like 4 or 5 campaigns, it'll all of a sudden start to like slowly make sense. And then like, holy crap. So what Keith was talking about, last month actually wasn't a foreign language. Oh, it all kind of makes sense now. And so if you're someone that you're already there and it's already starting to make sense for you, but like 2 months ago, it was like a foreign language, I would recommend going back and looking at some of these webinars and saying, hey, which one should I watch over again? You might, there's a super high likelihood that there's 1 or 2 of these webinars that you watched before that didn't really make an impact for you because you weren't ready for it yet, but you might be now. So yeah, like I said, I recommend, even if you want to outsource this to somebody, get in here and learn this stuff. Take action, get your team in here and do it. And if you want to outsource it down the road, you're going to be so much better off if you're in here really going deep and implementing and just fighting through the frustrations. All right. So, all right, that's it. That's it for this video. I hope you have an epic 2016. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for a lot of the stuff we've got for you. Got some great stuff coming. Got some really good video ad training coming down the road and lots of cool stuff. So if you like this video and it's public, share it with your friends. If you're not a member of Facebook Ads University, get in there and become a member. If you are a member, get into the Facebook group and say hi and ask some questions so we can help you out there, where we're real active in there. My team's in there, I'm in there. And get on the next webinar, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good day.